My name is Connie Halstead. I'm 71 years old. I live outside Knoxville, Tennessee, in a little house I've owned for 22 years. I retired 5 years ago after 26 years as a medical records clerk at a regional hospital, and my Social Security check, the one that's supposed to cover everything, is $1,462 a month. That's it. No pension, no rental income, no side business. $1,462, and out of that comes every bill, every grocery run, every tank of gas, everything. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The night I sat down and really looked at that number for the first time, I mean really looked at it, with a calculator and my bills spread across the kitchen table, my stomach dropped. I didn't sleep well that night. I kept running the numbers in my head thinking, how is this supposed to work? But here I am, 5 years later. I'm not behind on a single bill. I've got about $4,000 in a savings account I haven't had to touch. I go out for coffee with my friend Linda every Thursday. I bought my grandson a birthday present last month that he actually wanted. And I'm not suffering. I'm not miserable. I'm just paying very close attention. And that's what I want to show you today. Not some fantasy, not some trick. My actual budget, dollar by dollar, and every single thing I've done to make this number work. Because if you're living on something close to what I'm living on, you need to know it can be done. And it can be done without giving up your dignity or your Thursday coffee. Here's something that made me angry when I found out. Women, on average, get about $700 less per month in Social Security than men. $700. Same system. And a big reason for that is a lot of us took years off work. We raised kids. We took care of our parents. We took care of everybody. And the system penalized us for it. Because those years show up as zeros on our earnings record. So our checks are smaller. And nobody apologizes for that. Nobody sends a letter explaining it. But here's what I decided. I can be angry about it, or I can figure out how to live well anyway. I chose the second one. Now I want to be clear, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a woman with a calculator and a spiral notebook. What I've figured out in 5 years of living on this income is worth sharing. But before you make any big changes to your situation, talk to someone who knows your specific numbers. What I'm about to share is all real. It's all stuff I actually do. But your situation might be different from mine, and that's okay. All right, let me show you my actual numbers. I keep a small spiral notebook in my purse. Every dollar I spend goes in that notebook. Every single one. My daughter thinks I've lost my mind. She says, "Mama, just use an app." And I say, "Baby, this notebook doesn't run out of battery, and it doesn't try to sell me things. But I'll tell you something, that little book is the reason I still have $4,000 in savings after 5 years on a fixed income. Because you cannot fix what you cannot see. And most people have no idea where their money actually goes. They think they know, they don't. So here's mine, every month. This is real. Property taxes and homeowners insurance. I set aside about $210 a month for that. My house is paid off, thank the Lord. But taxes and insurance don't go away just because the mortgage does. A lot of people forget that. Utilities, electric, water, phone, and internet, about $155. Now, that number used to be a lot higher. I'm going to show you how I brought it down. Car insurance, $68 a month. I drive a 2012 Camry with 168,000 miles on it, and I plan to drive it until one of us gives out. Gas, about $50. I don't drive much. Church, groceries, doctor once in a while. That's about it. Groceries, $175 a month. This one took real work, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how I got there. Medicare Part B, that comes right out of my Social Security check. About $175. My Medigap supplement, I have Plan N, runs about $95 a month. Prescription copays through Part D, about $35. Miscellaneous, household stuff, personal things, a little something here and there, about $50. My church offering, about $30 a month. That one's non-negotiable for me. Now, you add all that up and I've got roughly $119 left over. That's my cushion. Some months it's a little more, some months it's a little less. Some months something breaks and it disappears entirely. But it's there most months. And that matters. I know what you're thinking. That is tight. And you're right, it is tight. But it works. And it works because I stopped guessing and started knowing. So here's the first thing I want you to do, and I mean this. Sit down with your actual bank statement and write down every single bill you pay. Not what you think you pay, what you actually pay. Pull out the statements. Look at the auto debits. Add it up. I know it's not fun. I know it might scare you a little. Do it anyway. Because that piece of paper is where everything starts. Okay, that was the budget. Now here's where I start showing you how to make some of those numbers smaller, because that's where the real power is. And I'm going to start with the easiest one. The thing that takes 15 minutes and costs nothing but a little bit of nerve. Call your bills. I mean it. Pick up the phone and call the companies you pay every month and ask one simple question. Do you have a lower rate, a senior discount, or a loyalty discount? Here's what happened when I did it. I called my car insurance company. I told them I drive less than 5,000 miles a year and asked if they had a low mileage discount. They did. I also asked about a senior discount. They had that too. 2 discounts, 1 phone call, and my bill dropped about $12 a month. Now, $12 a month doesn't sound like it'll change your life, but that's $144 a year I was just handing them for no reason. Then I called my internet provider. I told them my bill felt high for what I was getting, and I said I was thinking about switching. You know what they did? They found me a retention rate, $22 less a month, just like that. They have these rates. They just don't offer them unless you ask, or unless you say the magic word, which is cancel. Between those 2 calls, 15 minutes total. I'm saving over $400 a year. So before you do anything else on this list, go through your bills and make the calls. Insurance, internet, phone. If you've been with a company for years and never asked for a better rate, you are almost certainly overpaying. The worst they can say is no, and in my experience, they almost never say no. Now, those are the small wins. Important, but small. The next two are where the real money is. I didn't know about this one until a woman in my Sunday school class mentioned it. She'd been getting it for 3 years. 3 years. And she assumed everyone knew. They don't. Most states have some kind of property tax relief for seniors. It might be a freeze, where they lock your tax rate so it never goes up. It might be an exemption, where they reduce what you owe. It might be a deferral, where you don't pay until the house is sold. Every state is different. Every county is different. But something exists in almost every state, and most people never apply because they don't know it's there. Here's what I did. I called my county tax assessor's office. That's the office that handles property taxes. I told them I was 71, living alone on Social Security, and the woman on the phone said, "Honey, you qualify for a property tax freeze." She mailed me a 1-page form. I filled it out, sent it back with a copy of my Social Security statement and my ID, and that was it. My property taxes are now frozen at the rate they were when I applied. That means when my neighbors' taxes go up, and they keep going up, mine stay right where they are. Over 3 years, that saved me close to $400, and it's going to save me more every single year. Now here's the part I want you to write down. Call your county tax assessor's office. You can look up the number. Just search your county name and tax assessor. Call them and say, "I'm a senior citizen on a fixed income. Do I qualify for a property tax freeze, exemption, or any kind of senior tax relief?" Have your age, your income, and your property information ready. That call takes about 10 minutes. Some of you might save a few $100s a year. Some of you, depending on where you live, might save a lot more than that. But you will never know if you don't call. All right, this next one is the one that changed the most for me. And honestly, it's the one I almost didn't do. I need to tell you something, and I hope you hear me on this. When I first started looking into assistance programs, things like help with utility bills, help with groceries, I almost stopped. I looked at the website and I thought, this isn't for me. This is for people who really need it. I worked for 26 years. I paid my taxes. I can handle this myself. And then a woman at my church, her name is Doris, and she doesn't sugarcoat anything. She looked at me and said, "Connie, you paid into that system your whole working life. It is for you. That's exactly who it's for." And she was right. These programs exist because people like us funded them. There is no shame in using what you earned. So let me tell you what's out there. First, LIHEAP. That stands for Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. It's a federal program that helps pay heating and cooling bills. The income limits vary by state, but I'll tell you this. Many single seniors living on Social Security qualify. You don't have to be at rock bottom. You just have to be under a certain income level, and a lot of us are. Here's how you find it. You dial 211. That's it. 211 from any phone. It's free, it's confidential, and the person on the other end knows every assistance program in your area. You tell them you're a senior on a fixed income and you'd like to know about energy assistance. They will walk you through it. But here's the thing, LIHEAP isn't the only option. A lot of electric and gas companies have their own hardship programs or senior discount rates. These are separate from LIHEAP. You have to call your utility company directly and ask. I called mine, and they put me on a reduced rate I had no idea existed. It wasn't advertised, it wasn't on the website. I just had to ask. And one more, the Weatherization Assistance Program. This one is actually incredible. If you qualify, they will come to your house and do things like add insulation, seal drafts, sometimes even replace an old appliance for free. That makes your bills lower every month going forward. You find this one through 211 as well. Between LIHEAP and my electric company's senior rate, I save about $45 a month on utilities. That's $540 a year. Real money. Money I would never have saved if I'd let my pride keep me from making a phone call. So write this down. 211. That's the number. Call it. I used to walk into the grocery store with a list of what I wanted to eat that week, and I'd walk out with a receipt that made my eyes water. $300, sometimes $320 a month on groceries, just for me. And I wasn't buying anything fancy. That's just what it cost when you shop the way most people shop, which is you decide what you want and then you go buy it. Now I do it the other way around. I let the store tell me what's cheap, and then I figure out what to make from that. And that one change brought me from $320 down to about $175. Here's my method, and it's not complicated. Every week, before I set foot in a store, I look at the weekly sales ad. If chicken thighs are on sale, I'm eating chicken that week. If ground beef is on sale, we're doing chili or meat sauce. I plan my meals around what's already marked down. I buy store brand for almost everything. The name brand green beans and the store brand green beans come from the same place. I promise you, they taste the same. And the store brand is usually 30 to 50 cents cheaper per can. That adds up faster than you'd think. I cook in batches. On Sunday, I'll make a big pot of soup or a casserole or a slow cooker meal, and I eat on it half the week. Then I make something different Wednesday or Thursday that carries me through the weekend. Less waste, less cooking, less money. And here's a small one that people overlook. Most grocery stores have a senior discount day. Mine is Wednesday. 5% off everything. So I shop on Wednesdays. Every single week. 5% doesn't sound like much, but on $175 a month of groceries, that's over $100 saved in a year. Now, stay with me. I want to talk about one more thing related to food, and I know this one is sensitive. SNAP benefits. Used to be called food stamps. A lot of people hear that and think, not me. I understand. I felt the same way. But here's what I want you to know. The income limits for seniors are different than for younger people, and they're often more generous. If you're living on under about $1,600 a month by yourself, you might qualify. And we're not talking about pocket change. For some people, that's an extra $100 to $200 a month for groceries. You don't have to decide right now, but I want you to at least check. Go to benefitscheckup.org. I'm going to mention that again before we're done. Or call your local Department of Human Services and ask about SNAP for seniors. Just ask. That's all. I want to tell you what I've stopped calling this. I've stopped calling it living on a tight budget. I've stopped calling it getting by. I've stopped calling it surviving. I call it knowing where my money goes, and there's a real difference. When I didn't know, when I was guessing, estimating, rounding, hoping it would work out, I was anxious all the time. Every trip to the mailbox felt like a threat. Every unexpected bill felt like a crisis. That's surviving, and it's exhausting. But once I wrote it all down, once I made the phone calls, once I found the programs I qualified for, something shifted. I wasn't reacting anymore. I was deciding. I was choosing. I chose to cancel cable. I have an antenna for local channels, and my grandson shares his streaming account with me. That's plenty. I chose to stop buying clothes I didn't need. I have a closet full of perfectly good things. If something wears out, I'll replace it. But I'm done buying things just because they're on sale at the department store. I chose to eat out once a month, not once a week. And I enjoy that once a month a whole lot more than I used to enjoy the once a week, because it feels like a treat now instead of a habit. And I chose to keep the things that matter. Coffee with Linda on Thursdays. That's $4, and I'm keeping it. My grandson's birthday present. A real one, not a card with $10 in it. My church offering. Those aren't luxuries. Those are choices. And they're mine. I'm not deprived. I'm deliberate. And let me tell you, deliberate feels a whole lot better than confused. All right, if you've been writing things down, you've already got 5 or 6 things to look into. But I saved the most important one for last. Go to benefitscheckup.org. That's run by the National Council on Aging. It's free. Takes about 15 minutes. You answer some questions about your age, your income, your situation, and it checks you against over 2,000 federal, state, and local benefit programs. 2,000 in 15 minutes. I did this myself and found 2 programs I had no idea I qualified for. One of them saved me almost $600 last year. $600, just sitting there waiting for me to find it. And I only found it because I spent 15 minutes on that website. So here's your list. Here's what I need you to do. Write down your real numbers. All of them. Every bill, every dollar. Call your providers, insurance, phone, internet, and ask for a lower rate. Call your county tax assessor and ask about property tax freezes or senior exemptions. Dial 211 and ask about utility assistance programs. Look into SNAP if your income is under about $1,600 a month. And go to benefitscheckup.org. That one website could be worth more than everything else I've told you today combined. I'm not just surviving on $1,462 a month. I'm choosing how to live on it. And once you see your numbers, once you make those calls, once you find out what's available to you, You're going to feel something you might not have felt in a while. You're going to feel like you've got this, because you do. If this helped you, share it with a friend who's trying to figure this out too. And subscribe. I've got more of these coming.